How about now? How about now? Test. Do I have a tab open? Test. Oh, yeah. Welcome back to the Andrew Gosser Show. I think I might have it doped out. Sometimes you're sitting there and you got a new system and you're doing great stuff, and you push the ONOFF selector, and those of us in the Navy know that OFF stands for on full force, not off. And sometimes we hit a button and it just goes down a crazy way. But I think we got it fixed for the next hour. And look, Brother Blake is here. I don't have the camera set up on him yet, but he is here. Let me bring him in. Blake, you there, man?
Yes, sir.
Hey, you ready to do this in the next hour?
I'm pumped.
Dude, you should be, man. Really excited to have you for today. But what I'm really excited about is tomorrow and Wednesday, man, because we're going to get this set up. You are going to be sitting in the con, and we are going to give you an experience. And I think it's great, dude. Because that's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to bring up the next generation. And
Absolutely.
it's little opportunities like this where you never know what's going to happen. Never know. There might be a show in the not too distant future somewhere, the Blake Bartlam podcast turning into the Blake Bartlam show, turning into, dare I say, something like State Representative Bartlam. That would be,
Something like that.
dude, that'd be awesome. I'd love to see something like that. That would be a lot of fun. It's just one of those things where you sit there and you work, and we got all this technology. We were talking about it earlier with the voting, and how people are so upset that we're not going to allow people to vote 5 days after the election.
Right.
And it's one of those things where, and we're going to talk about that in the next hour. We're going to talk about, I got Sharia law to bring up.
Ooh.
And I'd like to get your opinion on that. We're going to talk about the equal rights and religious exemption that we're trying to get through, and all the quote unquote dogma that is around that. We don't need any of that. I want to talk about MTG and is MAGA dead?
Oh, we can absolutely talk about that.
I knew that we could. You are listening to the Andrew Gosser Show right here on 103.9 WYAB. We will be right back. Hey, everybody who's listening on Rumble and X and all that stuff, can you hear the voice now? I'll have to ask my official program observer, see if we can't get this all figured out. Let's see what happens here. Hey, thanks everybody. With this new laptop, it's just learning curve. But with the new laptop, things are going to be a lot better. We're going to have a lot more interaction. Thanks for everything, and we'll be right back. Yep, you are locked into the Andrew Gosser Show right here on 103.9 WYAB. We are broadcasting from Flora, Mississippi with our 50,000 watt blowtorch of a signal. You can hear us in Hattiesburg. You can hear us in Collins. You can hear us almost all the way to the border of Louisiana. How great. And I'm not talking Louisiana going west. I'm talking Louisiana going south on 55. The signal is rocking and rolling. Today is Monday, the 24th of November, 2025. And ladies and gentlemen, we are streaming on Rumble. We are streaming on X. We are streaming on YouTube. And we are streaming at WYAB.com. So if you can't pick up the radio signal for whatever reason, you can always pick up one of the streams. Look, we are here today to do what? Equip the saints. That is the standard mission of the Andrew Gosser Show. And I am so pleased. It makes me happy. Brother Blake Bartlam's in the studio. How you doing, my man?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I am wonderful and blessed. And let me tell you, there has just been so much going on
Really has.
since the last time you were here. But first things first, how are you doing, my friend?
Doing good. We're moving and grooving, as they say. And we got a lot of stuff going on right now, believe it or not. It's really more behind the scenes right now. And but more importantly, I'm getting through with my last year of high school so that I can start to get more unleashed.
That's pretty exciting. That's pretty exciting. High school grades going good?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Math is, like I remember you talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Math is not my strong suit, but it's still going good. So we're doing great.
I swear, dude, I was failing trig in college, and I was not going to get my commission in the Air Force if I had a failing math grade.
Yeah,
they can overlook a failing grade in basket weaving or something like that, but trig, you
I
want
hate
to
trig.
you want to be a pilot and you can't do the trig, and someone said go to Khan Academy.
Yeah, that stuff works like a charm.
It's
If I ever need the extra help, I just watch those videos and I'm good to go.
and they're free,
Mhm.
and they're 10 to 12 minutes long,
Yeah.
and you can get smart. Well, I want to just start jumping into it, and I guess like the biggest shocker to me over the past week has been MTG resigning.
I mean, I sort of saw it coming because whenever Mike Collins, who was one of our better representatives in the House, announced his Senate run for state of Georgia, I want to say that was about 6 months ago or so. He it was very obvious that he was Trump's choice for that, and that Trump had shot down Marjorie Taylor Greene, who wanted to do that. Marjorie Taylor Greene has been with Trump for a while now, but the way that she goes about things is not the best. She's very loud and obnoxious, and that can be good, but it showed in her popularity and stuff like that that in the way that she was controversial, that it didn't exactly help the movement out a ton. And then even look what she did in Congress, other than being a mouthpiece for Donald Trump, but she was in charge of the Doge Committee, and the Doge Committee has done almost nothing since it was created.
Yeah.
So she really was just someone who talked a lot and didn't get a whole lot done. And whenever Donald Trump shot down her political dreams, she got angry and started to personally attack Donald Trump. And that's when Donald Trump pulled the endorsement, and she saw how quickly her political career could be over.
I'll tell you what, and I genuinely believe this because I've had disagreements with President Trump. I've had disagreements with other Republican leaders, but I have never said some of the craziness that she was saying. And he's the president of the United States.
Yeah.
So, Mr. President, we're going to get this done. And she talks about all the bills she introduced to codify his executive order. And we appreciate that, right?
Yeah.
But this is what I have discovered is the biggest problem with MAGA or people who consider themselves more conservative than Republican is we will have a great person in there, and we will find one thing that's wrong with them, and then we just kick them to the curb. You're dead to me. We're not going to talk about that anymore.
Right.
And we've got to get past that. And I think that was what kind of MTG was doing.
Mhm. Yeah, and I think it's a broader point because she started to, like, morph into the more I think they call it the America First crowd, even though I really think they're more themselves first, with Nick Fuentes and Thomas Massey and people like that. They do a whole lot of talking, but they don't get a whole lot done,
Mhm.
and, you know and they love to blame President Trump, but President Trump's done about everything that he can through executive order that the Constitution allows him to do. It's time for Congress to start codifying these executive orders.
Mhm.
Your focus shouldn't be on President Trump, it should be on Congress. And if you're going to talk about President Trump, talk about the major successes that he's had, like the most secure border in American history, the wars that he's ended, or the fact that he's trying to reset our economy so that it puts Americans first and works for America instead of the globalist elites.
Yep.
Right. So, but talk about that stuff. But I think she sort of had a little bit of meltdown whenever Trump didn't want her to run for Senate. And like I said, that's why I consider them first instead of America first.
Yep. When I was running for office, I had dreams of being a state rep. That
Hmm.
that that was where I was. But I knew once I ran for highway commissioner, my career was done. I did not want to go and drag people down. I tried to espouse back then the Tea Party core values of fiscal responsibility, limited government, and free markets. And what I came to find during that whole thing is that it's really almost there is almost like a uniparty up there.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you can get up so high, but once you start really trying to get through that barrier where MTG was,
Hmm.
um, she ended up getting soundly rebuffed.
Yeah.
And I'm just sitting here looking at it like it's a shame that we lost that because now it gives everybody the talking point
Yeah,
that
they've all started to buy into it, and they're all
Mhm.
trying to say MAGA's dead. Well, you saw that the reason she resigned from Congress is because she knew she wasn't going to get elected again,
Nope.
and it's because I think that people have been trying to stop MAGA ever since Donald Trump came down the escalator in
Mhm.
2015, and they've tried every which way to go about it. Whether it was the Republican primary in 2015 and 2016, and they thought that Ted Cruz and Marco Rubio were going to run away with it. They thought he would never win anything, and then he wound up winning the whole thing by a
Yep.
lot. And then whether it was the impeachments, whether it was infiltrating his first administration with a bunch of rhinos like Comey
Yep.
and Bill Barr and all that stuff, or whether it was, J6, or whether it was, him getting shot, like stuff, major stuff like that, raiding his home. They've tried everything
Mhm.
and it hasn't worked. So now they're going to try to come at it from a more rightward, I put that in air quotes,
Mhm.
rightward perspective, because they're just trying to destroy MAGA because it is ultimately the most diverse and the most powerful political movement that this country has ever seen.
And it's so strong. And the thing about I love about MAGA, and MAGA looks at me like I'm looking at some of the text messages that are coming in right now. They are informed and they have a definite direction they want to go in.
Absolutely.
And and the thing is if you are pushed in that direction, it should be pretty simple to say that look, we're not going to go ahead and throw the baby out with the bathwater.
Hmm.
But when you have somebody like a Mitch McConnell or something like that, it's got to go.
Yeah.
And not only that, but we have to put people your generation coming up,
Hmm.
you're not 30, so you're not going to be a senator anytime soon. But I mean, that this is the time now to start building these
Yeah.
next generation of leaders up. And I'm not sure if you've seen what Mississippi GOP's done lately, but they've hired 2 or 3 more Zoomers.
They have. Yeah.
And I, I'm not saying that that's a great thing because the party we can always improve, but that's just letting me know that you know what we are actively looking at what's
Yeah.
going on inside the GOP
Right.
and how do we build the GOP for the
Hmm.
next 24, 40,
Yeah.
50 years. And we don't want any. Did you, real quick before we go to the break, did you hear about the 50-year mortgage?
I did.
What does Gen Z think about that?
Well, I think that a lot of people, I think, have misinterpreted it as,
Hmm.
Trump just trying to make a way to make bankers richer. I think what it is where you so that young people can afford a home, like to straight out the
Yep.
gate until we get housing prices down in general. It's just a short-term thing for them to go ahead and get that 50-year mortgage, and then, 5, 10 years later, they
Mhm.
can refinance it down to a 30 or a 15. That's what I think it is, and
Mm.
I think that's a great thing. It's not meant to be a long-term solution. It's meant to be a short-term fix until we get the long-term solution put in place.
Yep.
That's what I think.
How am looking at this is I've never seen a government program canceled after it's started.
Mhm.
So, like, once they start with this 50-year thing, I I am very distrustful of the government, and it's a healthy distrust. It's not like evil government, burn it all to the ground. That's not what I'm saying.
Right.
But what I am saying is all of a sudden you start putting in these programs into place, food stamps, EBT. It's not supposed to be a long-term thing,
Mhm.
yet people have been on it for 20, 30, 40 years,
Yeah.
and they're absolutely just abusing the system. And I'm afraid that that's what's going to happen with the mortgages.
Yeah.
So that's why I sit there and I look at that. I want my daughter and my sons to be so far ahead of where I am, and just right now, I don't see it,
Mhm.
and it's bothering me. With with the kids that you hang out with, and I call you kids because I love y'all, you're young men, young
Yes, sir.
women. What is their opinion on what's happening in Washington, DC right now with respect to MAGA, with respect to the shutdown, with
Well,
respect to the
a lot of them are just fed up with nothing getting done. And,
Mhm,
and because you have this movement of trying to bring down Donald Trump, a lot of the anger on social media gets pointed at Donald Trump instead of Congress.
mhm,
But I think in reality, we saw that Trump's popularity with young people was the most popular whenever Doge was at its peak.
yep,
In those first 100 days, whenever they were really ripping through a lot of this stuff. So it really is Congress. People are fed up with just nothing getting done, and they're fed up with affordability being the main issue.
yep.
And so when you get these prices down, and when Congress finally gets its act together, whether that's today or 15 years down the road, because Lord knows how long it takes them to do anything. But whenever that happens, people are going to start to finally feel like things are going in the right direction.
Do you feel like the your friend group, your political group that you hang out with, a are so there's this thing, it's called, the populist movement and then the political movement. Political is left and right, populist is up and down. Do you feel like Generation Z could switch more to a leftist populist type of movement if we're not successful with what we're doing on
Oh,
the right with
absolutely. I mean, we saw that with the election of Zoran Mondami, right? And it was funny because you looked at the numbers of that, and you actually had like I don't want to say it was like 5% of Trump voters in New York City
Mhm.
voted for Zoran Mondami, and it's because all they've seen is Republicans for the last 15 years not do anything. That whenever they get radical, whenever things are going bad, people get radical in their
Yep.
decision making, and you can either have them calm themselves back down and go with a more conservative approach to things, or they're going to choose socialism, and it's up to you to decide.
Yep, socialism is so bad. We just passed a we can't get real funding bills through Congress, but we can pass a resolution to condemn
Yeah,
socialism.
it's so ridiculous. I'm so fed up with the Republican Congress. Some of the things I probably couldn't say on the internet how I really feel about it,
Yep.
or on the radio how I really feel about it, but just they are so pathetic and they're so lackadaisical about getting anything done that it's truly frustrating.
Do you think that we should have term limits in the Senate and in Congress, just like we do with the president?
Absolutely.
What do you say to those people who argue that if you put in term limits, it's going to hurt states like Mississippi because we're going to have to change people out every so often, and we don't have as many representatives in Washington D.C. as say Illinois or a New York or California? Do you think that that will hurt the smaller states?
I
Because
don't think so because they're gonna just it's gonna be a constant way to like find people that improve on what you're doing and making sure that you have the impact in the short amount of time
Mm,
that you have. I don't think that's an issue at all.
I'm agreeing with you on that. But there is a significant group of specifically conservatives from smaller states like Wyoming, Montana, North South Dakota, Mississippi that say, look, if we get term limits, we're going to lose our place to keep our guys there who are able to bring back money to the state. And whether you like Mr. Wicker or not, he is chairman of the House or the Senate Armed Services Committee,
Mhm.
and he does a lot of stuff for Mississippi. And what my constituents, where I'm at down in Terry, they're like, we don't want to get rid of Mr. Wicker. He's doing great stuff for us. And
Mhm.
meanwhile, there's people like you and I are like, man, we're not getting this stuff done. We got to take our first commercial break. We are right here with Mr. Blake Bartlam at the WYAB Command Center in Flora, Mississippi. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Oh, yeah. It is the Andrew Gosser Show right here on 103.9 WYAB. Look, if you want to be part of the program today, Blake and I aren't afraid to take your calls. Liberals always welcome. 601 879 0002. Text line is open 601 879 5060. I, there are some people who are. I'm getting multiple texts on Khan Academy.
Mhm.
I'm getting people who have said they're good, but Miss Lindsay Beckham, who hosts the Lindsay Beckham show, coming after us, she's pointing out that there is woke content on Khan Academy, and that does not surprise me that there might be woke content
Yeah.
on places that we like. It, what I would say is that if you have a problem with math, and I haven't checked the Khan Academy in probably 5 years because that's the last time I
Mhm.
really had to send
Yeah.
one of my kids to Khan Academy to get their math straightened out. It's great. They don't teach you the new age fangled math. They do the old math the way that you were supposed to do it.
Right.
I was doing some math in public the other day, and these kids were watching me do math the old way, and they're like, "That's not how we learned it." And I'm like, "Okay, you figure out this problem, and I figure out this problem." And it was just a simple addition or subtraction, but
Mhm.
they were big numbers, six-figure numbers
Yeah.
and decimal points. And they're sitting there doing all this stuff, and I'm just sitting there looking, and then I just write it out and pop, pop, pop. I've got it in like 10 seconds, and they're still sitting there. And we all got it. We all got the right answer, but it just makes me think if it's taking that much longer for you to get the correct answer, that is delaying your productivity. That is
Mhm.
delaying the way you,
Yeah.
you want to do that.
I think that there's, I mean, almost anything we have these days is infiltrated with some sort of, wokeness. So it's
Yep.
just control what you put in front of your kids and just use it for the best while you can. Because I mean, if you're struggling in something, you kind of need to figure it out, especially if it's school. And it may be unfortunate, but that's just kind of how it is. So
We've got to get back to teaching reading, writing, and
yeah,
arithmetic, and stop worrying about all this other stuff. So, did you know that last week MSNBC is now gone?
really, I actually didn't see that.
It is now MS Now.
Oh, I did. I think I did. I heard about the name change,
Yeah,
but I
it's the
didn't.
name change, and it is absolutely glorious because they're cratering.
Yeah,
No one trusts them. No one believes in them.
who would?
Well, you would be surprised at the people um, who are following that. But I do have the latest numbers from the cable news rating via Nielsen from Adweek. And to see the conservative side of the news business compared to the liberal side of the news business, listen to this. The demographic, that is ages 24 to 54, that's who they feel may spend the most money on the
Hmm.
advertisements that are in front of them.
Yeah.
Fox News, or no, let's start with CNN. And this is the demographic in prime time, 77,000 people. That's all they have watching.
That's horrible.
MSNBC, 73,000. Fox News, 228,000.
Yeah.
Now that's still, to me, that's a little bit small compared to what I remember back in like the 2000s
Yeah.
when that's all we had. But that brings me to this point that I want to ask you. Where do you get your news? Where do your friends get their news? Where are the Zoomers and the Alphas going to get their
They're
information?
going on TikTok. I think they'll be on X
Oh
as
Lord!
they get older, but they're all on TikTok, and
Oh my
that is
God!
why I post on TikTok almost every day with the truth because it's TikTok is just a field full of lies, and there's almost no way to fact check anything, and it's so hard on TikTok because the people on there are so unintelligent that like you can't have a conversation with them because they're just so like they've been filled with propaganda on that app, and but that's where the kids go, and it's really like memes and stuff that
Hmm.
get their way around, and but they don't watch cable news, they despise cable news. I hate it, absolutely hate it. So
Do they do they go to like news websites like say Citizen Free Press or Mississippi Today or anything like that?
I mean,
Not that
they might
Missis.
see an article posted on Instagram or something, but
Mhm.
not they don't like go look for that as their first source.
I have to be truthful and say I have an Instagram account, but I don't think I logged into it since like 2019. And maybe that's just the old Xer in me. But is there a lot of news that goes through Instagram, or is that more of? like, "Hey, look at my flowers," or
Well, it's sort of both because you have the obviously it's like our version of Facebook where you
mhm,
post the pictures of what you're doing in your life, but the news places have sort of gone on to Instagram and made pretty
uh-huh.
large headway on there, and so but yeah, it's really Instagram and TikTok is where people get their news these days. But I'm the only one of my friends that's on Twitter, so
Yeah. Oh, goodness gracious. We gotta well, speaking of X and Twitter, what do you make of Uncle Elon turning on the location for all of these accounts?
it's
And
really funny because it's like the whole thing was MAGA's dead, and then so you find out that like a huge majority of the people pushing that aren't even from America.
yep.
It's like it puts holes in their movements because they're all chasing clicks. Like that's all that it is. So
But 3 of the top 5 mega content creators were from India. What do you say about that?
it really is like I feel like MAGA has been monetized as a way for people to grift, and you start to see whenever it hits the fan,
Mhm.
you see the people that are really MAGA or not, and it's the people in Congress like Tim Burchett and
Yeesh.
Mike Collins and Anna Paulina Luna and Boebert in Colorado. Like those are the people that are real MAGA. It's people that get stuff done. It's people like Jack Posobiec, and all the people at Turning Point. So that's your real MAGA. It's people that get work done in the streets and not just look for clicks online.
To all of us people that are older than brother Blake right here, just take the wisdom that he just dropped and meditate on that. MAGA is so localized, in my opinion, that it's great to have those national accounts, Jack Posobiec, Libs of TikTok. Um, you notice all like the really big MAGA accounts, there was no problem, but a lot of the grifters, like you said,
Mhm.
and we have to get to a point to where we have to say that we not only should our TikTok or not our Tik, well, yeah, even our TikTok accounts, our Instagram accounts, Facebook accounts, X accounts, there should be some way in there to see where you're from.
Absolutely.
And I think if I go to my X account right now, I think it says Chicago, Mississippi, and Washington, D.C.,
Mhm.
because I bounce around there
Yeah.
politically. But it would be really great to see where was that account originally started.
Mhm.
Because I think my X account was originally started in West Palm Beach, Florida. Long story there, not for the radio, but
Mar-a-Lago.
pretty close. But that's it's just one of those things where we need with all this technology that we have, we can use it for a lot of good.
Mhm.
But if we're not careful with it, we're going to be put into something that we don't want to get into.
Mhm.
Last thing before we hit the break here in about a minute and a half, you are a high school senior, a young skull full of mush, as Maharishi would say. What are your plans after graduation? Are you going to head off to local college, like a community college? Or are you going to try to go to a big institution type of thing? What are you thinking?
Right now, I'm thinking, Millsaps.
There you
My
go.
dad went there for 3 years, and then he went to Yale for graduate school after that, and he liked it there. I know a lot of people there, like the teachers and stuff like that. I
Mhm,
know the dean, Dean Pfizer over there. So, and I wanna stay close to home. That's really my biggest motivation because if you're
mm,
gonna do political science in Mississippi, Ole Miss and Millsaps are your 2 best bets, and Millsaps is a lot more expensive, but scholarship money should take care of that. Um, but I wanna stay close to home, help take care of my mom, but also, the capital here. My whole foundation that I've done is here. You're
mhm,
here. The
yep,
radio's here. Everything's here. I don't want to leave that, and I'm not a huge fan of Oxford, so sorry
mm.
to my people up there. But here is it's just so much more home.
Toots McCracken, she is all hot to trot to go to Oxford. She went on a college visit up there with the Sweet Bee, and
Hmm.
dude, as soon as she stepped on campus, it was like I saw this picture. It was like her whole countenance in her face just changed. Like I'm coming here, and I'm like, oh. For those of you who didn't see that, I just put my head on the desk and started banging it. It's
It's a town of it really has become a town of carpetbaggers. Like with the university being as popular as it
mhm,
is, it, I was up there the last couple of weeks because I went to go see Florida play up there,
mhm.
and then I was there for a couple political things. But how many like New Jersey plates and everything like that that I saw? It's just it's not Oxford. It's not what it used to be,
Mm.
in my opinion. And there's way too many people there for how big the town is. So it's just, in my opinion, it's not what it used to be. It's not the southern town that it used to be.
Yep. Well, for me personally, Sweet Toots, I know you're at home listening today. Let's go local. Let's go local. Dad wants to keep you at home. You are listening to the Andrew Gosser Show right here on 103.9. We will be right back.
I'm using the restroom real quick.
Yeah, no worries, man. This show goes by too quick.
It really does. That's why I'm excited for the next couple of days.
Yeah, man.
Hours. It's kind of nice to be able to space things out across a few days instead of having to talk about everything in one show.
Yep. We're going to talk about Sharia law next. Are you all right with that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like have you heard the name Andrew Scott Smith? He's running against Cindy Hyde-Smith for Senate, and I'm his volunteer coordinator.
Cool.
I've been officially brought on as that, and we got some momentum right now, and she's in some trouble, I think.
You do?
So
I will let you talk about that. My opinion on that is if Andrew doesn't get like a couple $1 million to go after it,
yeah,
he's going to get crushed.
yeah. But the things that have gotten us, we feel like we're getting some momentum is the beef.
Oh, yeah. We are back on the Andrew Gosser Show. I am here with Blake Bartlam. Blake, where can we find you on the social medias?
You can find me Blake Bartlam, so Blake, and then Bartlam on Facebook, TikTok, and X, and then MS for Trump on YouTube. So that's everywhere you can find me.
Your YouTube channel is cranking, dude.
We
I
do the best. We do the best we can.
you know, I haven't looked recently, but I remember looking back at, and I think you were at like 18,000.
30,000.
Oh, you're at 30,000 now? Dude, that's man, I need to get this guy hired on at the Andrew Gosser show to get the Andrew Gosser YouTube channel smoking.
And that TikTok's been taking off a little bit too. We have around 29,000 on there. So,
It's really interesting. But my mother brought us up. We were so poor that we would have to make everything last,
mhm.
right? So my desktop computer at home's from like 2018 or 2019. That laptop, I call it Darth Vader. There's a big black thing. And, that's 2011.
Wow.
I just really slow to upgrade my computer because as long as I got Microsoft Word Office or Microsoft Word, PowerPoint, and Excel, I really don't
Yeah.
play the video. But now it's like I want to go ahead and start making shorts and reels and doing
Mhm.
all these things. And I want to go ahead and start doing that kind of stuff. You want to take a phone call?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it. Go ahead. You're on the air. Oh, this is going to be good. Oh, hung up. You know what that was? I bet you it was either a telemarketer or somebody who wanted to say something really bad. And all of a sudden, it's like right here too. Like that's the dump button. You always got to make sure when you answer that phone call, you hit that button, have your hand on the dump button. But let's talk about um, this is going to be the last big segment of the show. So Sharia law. What are your thoughts on it? What do you guys talk about that in your friend groups and stuff about what's happening? Because I mean, for those people who have never either been to Afghanistan, Iraq, Saudi Arabia, the Middle East area, and have actually seen Sharia law implemented, it just seems like, oh, it's out there. We don't care. We're over here in America. We're fine. What
Have y'all seen Dearborn, Michigan lately?
oh, I have.
So me and more of my like religious friends, we
Hmm.
talk about it a little bit. There's no question that it needs to be banned across the United States, 100%.
There is
100%.
there is no source material that I have found that our founding fathers used to go ahead and create the Constitution and the follow-on documents. It was all based on biblical principles.
Mhm.
Blackstone, which was in Montesquieu, I think is how I
Mhm.
say his name,
Yeah.
right? So that's where our country gets its values from, and it just seems we're importing all these people with different values who don't who are leaving horrible countries that do not respect women, do not respect children.
Mhm.
And then they get here, they're like, oh, we just want to bring that over here and wreck this place
It's the
too.
same with people moving from New York and California to Florida and Texas and bringing their politics with them.
Yep.
It's the same concept, and but you're right. Is that why in the world would we import people with values like that?
Well,
You don't have a country if you don't have assimilation.
yep. But my big thing is disclosure here to everybody listening to my voice. I am from Chicago, northwest side of Chicago. I do not bring any of that mess down
And
here.
that's how it should be. So
Yeah, I couldn't wait to get out of there, dude.
I bet.
It was insane. So we are one thing that I'm reaching out, and I hope you can kind of lend your voice to this. Is we're reaching out to everybody within the WYAB listening area to find out who their state representative and state senator is, and just find out. You don't need to call them today or write them a letter or do anything, but we're going out there and we're trying to get people to just find out who it is. Brother, it shocks me every time. I'm like, can you tell me who your state rep is? And they're like, oh, mine's Benny. I'm like, oh, sir, that's your
It's your federal.
congressman.
Yeah.
That's your congressman, man. Who's your state rep?
Yeah.
Wait, we got somebody else? And then and you hear that, and to the big oligarchy, whether you call it the deep state, the uniparty, whatever you want to call it, they love voters like that
Hmm.
who absolutely have no real um, idea
Yeah,
of
because
who.
that means whenever they go to the polls and they don't know what they're voting, they see that
Yep,
R next to the
yep.
name, and they just click it, and then they're boom, they get reelected.
Or in my case, the D. I,
Bless your heart down in Terry.
oh
Bless
man,
your heart.
you want to know what though? I have to say this: the mayor in Terry is a cool guy, man,
Yeah.
and everybody's like, you know, the mayor down there. I'm like, we talked a few times. Um, and the thing is I genuinely believe we're rapidly approaching as our country continues to unfortunately decline. People are going to start depending on each other a little bit more,
Hmm.
and as that happens, I think it's going to bring the local communities together, which is why local elections are so critical. Because we all got kids, we all got grandkids. You don't have any grandkids yet, but you're somebody's grandkid, right?
Right.
So that's kind of where it is. For me, the Sharia law stuff, we have to find a way to market it and be able to reach the kids, whether that be on TikTok, whether that be on Instagram, whether that be on Facebook or X,
Yeah.
to try to go ahead and build that up, because the next session for Mississippi starts in just over a month away. Can you believe
I
it?
know. I can't wait though, because I'll be there. I should be there the first day whenever they swear in Don Hartness. I
Oh,
should be there for that. So Lord willing. So like I'm ready. I'm ready for it because we finally have a couple seats that have gotten more conservative people that hopefully we can finally get some stuff at least introduced so we know where people stand.
I it's not that I completely forgot about Don. I remember when Don ran for Senate or state rep the first time,
Hmm.
and he lost. I went
Yeah.
to Jones County and I met him, and now he's a state senator.
Hmm.
Think about that. Think about the things that we're going to be able to do.
Yeah, I know the main thing that they're working on because they try to do one like the conservative people try to do one bill a session just
Mhm.
because it's not a lot of time, and the only things that they need to focus on one thing so that
Yep.
they can actually get something done is going to be the school choice bill,
Yep.
and the House loves it. The Senate's obviously going to be the problem. You have Delbert Hosemann still as Lieutenant Governor, so obviously there's going to be problems there right out the gate. So that's the main thing. Senator Chisholm, Senator Hartness, they're going to be the main ones in the Senate spearheading that, and then I'm Representative Jansen Owen, and then I know Speaker White loves school choice, so the House shouldn't be as much of a problem as the Senate is.
Have you met Speaker White?
I have. I was a page. That was over a year ago now. Wow, I was a page over a year ago. That's crazy.
Dude,
Time flies.
I didn't even know that.
Hmm.
Wow.
I was a page for Representative Powell. He's my state rep. So yeah, that
Hmm.
was fun. I got to meet Speaker White a couple times, and then I know a couple people in the Speaker's office. So
That is absolutely incredible, Blake.
yes, sir.
The fact, and think about this. This 17-year-old is running laps around so many of us. Yeah, well, I got a job, I got work. You got to go to school.
Yeah,
We all got responsibilities and duties that we've got to do. It brings a smile to my face as I'm sitting here thinking about the future of Mississippi. And there's only one Blake, right? There's only one Andy, right? But there's more of us out there, but we
hmm,
have to find those people and then bring them in.
you got to inspire them, and
Y-
that's what a lot of people. That's what a lot of people look for is they look for their passion,
mhm.
and I think that the more and more that you give people the empowerment to, chase their dreams instead of saying that you need to go to college and you need to get a 9 to 5. No, not always. So, but people just look. They need to look for what they're passionate for, and that's how they're going to find what they've been truly been called by God to do.
Yep. I'm getting a text here now, and this is not on the text line, but my private line. But it's it's um it's pretty crazy what is happening in Florida. 3 charged with shouting slurs at praying Muslim students while waving bacon in Florida. Now, I am not recommending that. Uh, I just think that we're beyond that. But what are they doing wrong? I
Well, the
mean,
First Amendment protects something like
yeah.
that.
So where this is really getting me, and I know that there are state reps listening to this, you cannot use your faith as a sword and a shield
Mm-hmm.
with the First Amendment. So if you are going to say you have First Amendment rights and you can play the call to prayer at dark 30 in the middle of Dearborn,
Yep.
then you know what? You should have people be able to do that. Now, did you see what happened in Dearborn where that guy I guess he brought the Bible into the meeting itself,
Yeah.
wrapped it in bacon, and then tried to light it on fire?
Mm-hmm.
So this is how I look at this. I want your opinion on that. Going into the city council meeting, wrapping up a Quran in bacon, no problem. But the moment you try to light that thing on fire, well, now you've committed a felony because you're trying to start a fire inside a city council
Yeah.
meeting. I mean, guys, think. But out here, we you know, we have a First Amendment right. Just how do we use it? How do we expect it? And just because we can do something,
Doesn't mean you should do it. That's a tale as old as time there.
man, look, I love it when I start making a comment and then you just finish it up. I mean, that is really great stuff. So I know we've got a lot of great people out there. If you haven't, this is my personal plea to everybody. If you haven't figured out who your state rep is, you please find that out this week. It takes you all of what, 30 seconds on the
Yeah.
internet, and,
And I would recommend looking them up through either the Heritage Foundation or Turning Point, and you should be able to get their conservative score as well.
wait, Turning Point's got a
I know they
lookup?
have federal because, like, you can look up how awful Michael Guest and Frank Kelly and all them are, but we'll go on that bridge later this week. But you can look up. I know federal they have it, and then the Heritage Foundation should have something for your state reps as well, as far as their like Liberty score, conservative score is concerned. I
Yep.
think. Don't quote me on that, but I think that's a thing.
The only place where some people like Mike Watson, some people don't. I think he does a pretty good job. There's a lot left on the table that he can go and get at, but I'll tell you what, if you look up Mississippi My Election Day, you type in your zip code, you type in your street address, boom, you've got what precinct you live in and all
Yep.
that. And it's time. Uh, Republicans and church folk are terrible about this. We'll fellowship when it comes to all this other stuff, but when it comes time for us to go to the school board or to vote or do anything, we just completely flush everything down the toilet. We don't listen to any of it, and then we get all upset, bent, and
Yeah.
we're hurt because we didn't get the person we wanted in there. And I'm
It's
like,
like, well, you didn't do
yep.
anything.
I mean, the county board race out in Rankin County would.
Yeah, I'm hoping DP gets it. I don't know him, but I know of him because I go to Northwest. I see him every Friday at the games. I mean, and I'm up in the press box with him too. So I hope he gets it.
Oh, you want to know
So
what? I put a call out. Was it last week? And I know he listens to the show. Um, but I invited both those people to come on the radio, and only Daryl, reached out.
mhm.
And
He's a great dude. Fantastic. He's done wonders at Northwest.
well, that's really great to hear because we need higher participation in these local elections. For me personally, I'm in I should it's not that I shouldn't be saying this, but we want higher election turnouts everywhere.
Mhm.
But I would if I had to choose where the highest percentage of turnout is, the local stuff is where I want the high percentage.
Absolutely, because the local stuff is what really affects you. Your property
Yes.
taxes, your school board, stuff like what your kids are essentially learning in a nutshell is decided at that school board meeting. So
Blake, we gotta take a commercial break. The hour is almost up. Dude, we are moving and grooving right here on the Andrew Gosser Show. I have Blake Bartlam in the studio. We will be right back with our final segment. Yeah, we are back right here on the Andrew Gosser Show. We've got about a minute and a half left. Mr. Palmer, I just got your text. If you want to call in tomorrow, uh, let's say at 11:06, 11:07 in the morning, we'll make sure to get you on there. And, our radio waves are open to everybody. So we're sitting there. We're not trying to do that, but play favorites or anything. But we definitely would love to have you on um, the show tomorrow or Wednesday, but before everything gets kicked off because the election's next week, right?
Uh, yeah, I guess. Yeah, I
Or
believe.
is it tomorrow?
No, no, it's next week because it's in December. It's December
It's
2nd.
December 2nd. Yeah, that's right. Man, like minor panic attack there. Dude, we talked about so much and we still have so much more to talk about. We're just
We've got 2 more days to do it though.
we do. And this is a pretty good Thanksgiving break for you, huh?
I think so too.
That's the beautiful thing about local radio, ladies and gentlemen, is there's always opportunities. There's always opportunities to go out there and learn new things and do new things. And we have to go out there and make sure we make ourselves uncomfortable. I'm sure Blake coming in here the first time was kind of like, wow, this is going to be kind of crazy. But now it's just like he comes in, grabs his headset, sits down, gets himself all hooked up. He's all ready to rock and roll. Caller, I see you calling in. It's not time to be fair with another caller, but we'll see you tomorrow. You are listening to the Andrew Gosser Show on 103.9 WYAB. We'll see you tomorrow, everybody.